Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bite Size Branding Live, where we cover off a couple subjects in the brand, marketing, and business space in 5 minutes or less. And live stream, so welcome back if you joined us last time. My name is Kassab from 𝐁𝐢𝐭𝐞-𝐒𝐢𝐳𝐞𝐝, and as always, I'd like to welcome.
Hi everyone, my name is Thom. I'm known in the industry as a head fire starter, which means I get ideas started, I build brands, and I make businesses grow.
Awesome. Thanks, Grant. As always, a pleasure having you here and joining us for the show. This week, I have got our timer fixed, so hopefully we're going to have a lot more fun with it and a lot less drama with the timer. We've got a couple different subjects that we're going to be talking about. We're going to do a really heavy web focus this week. So we're going to be talking about landing pages and what's the difference between a landing page and a website. We're going to be talking about SEO and a couple of updates that we've been that have come across our books recently. Some algorithm changes with Google and what you can do to kind of position yourself correctly for search. And then Google Ads, who and who isn't a right fit from our experience and our knowledge for using Google Ads and what the benefit can be for your business. So if you're ready, my friend, I will kick off that timer and we will talk about landing pages to start.
I'm ready. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Boom. Cool. So the subject we're going to kind of cover off is what's the difference between a landing page and a website. So I'll kick this off. The great thing about your website is it's an amazing platform for having deep insights into your business. You can talk about all the different aspects of your business, every individual service, every different individual piece of your history, your credibility, your the background of the business, why it all came to life. With a landing page, the key difference is that it's highly focused. It's something that is separate from your current brand that doesn't affect the way you position your current website, which means you're not affecting its current SEO, its keyword ranking, anything like that. The landing page sits separate to that. And what you want to do with a landing page is it's highly focused on solutions focused on a customer's buying journey. So I'll give a little bit of insight in that. So what you want to kind of do is when somebody comes in, there is a problem or a scenario that you build for them. A customer, the first thing they'll see is a bit of a scenario. So they get an understanding of, okay, yes, this is kind of me. And we do something what we call seeding the journey. So then we propagate a couple of questions there. Have you ever experienced, or do you ever think, or have you ever felt one of these 3 or 4 things? Straight away, you're starting to see that experience for the customer. And what they start to understand and learn and acknowledge is, yes, this is something I have experienced. How do I find a solution for it? And the next section will then be the solution. What is it that we could do that could help you potentially with this issue that you're facing? How can we offer a service or package of services that can actually help you with this? And what is the process that we go through to ensure that what we do implement is effective for your business?
So let me come in there.
Let
me come in there for a second. Okay, so a website for me is very much, it's a research tool. It's about who you are, it's what you're about, it's with the view to validate your range of services or products that's on offer.
Yes.
A landing page is a campaign with the view that when you're using the Google algorithm, you're focused towards a particular part that you're trying to sell. So if you sell many things, it's imperative that you try and have many landing pages with the view to be relative to the thing that you're trying to sell. So it is very targeted, it's very niche with the view to capture you, engage you, and be able to respond to you a lot faster. Websites today are not designed to sell items unless you're an e-commerce store. But if you're trying to sell a product or a service, that's what a landing page is all about. So hence what you were saying. It's about putting a multiple of things together and be very, very laser focused in your spend.
Yes. 100%. That's a perfect way of encapsulating it. What you want to do is be laser focused. So really, really understand the buyer's persona that you're going after. And everyone's using that buzzword at the moment, buyer persona, buyer persona. Essentially, it means if you were to cherry pick the perfect customer that you wanted to be talking to, what is it that they're thinking? What is it that they're feeling? What is it that they have issues with? What are their hurdles at the moment? What would the solution do for them? How would it change their life? How would it affect them and better every single day for them? Maybe it's a time pressure. Maybe it's a stress pressure that they're having. well, what would that give back to them? More time with their family, more time with their friends, more time sleeping at ease at night. Build this into the journey and the experience they have through this landing page. So as soon as they hit it, they go, oh my God, that's me. And yes, that is what I want out of this. Great, how do I get it? You know, and that's when you put in your call to action. And that's when the opportunity really becomes viable for them, becomes real.
But now when you're on those landing pages, it gives you the opportunity to embed a video with the view to have conversation.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity with the view to touch points with the view to engage. It gives you an opportunity to request for more information. For me, landing pages should be short. You get very long landing pages as well with the view that they keep on trying to remind you to click and sell now again later on. I like less is more. I must be honest with you. Tell me quickly, get me focused. Have you got what I want? Yes or no? Or let me get out of here. It's all to be what I'm about. I like landing pages that are extremely focused to the service that they have driven you there for.
Yeah, perfect. We've got like 30 seconds left. I'll do a little bit of a roundup from my end. So on that exact point, 3 sections. What is the problem that they're facing? Section 2, how do you provide a solution to them that will help them with that problem? Section 3, credibility. Add that credibility. So videos, a white paper download, anything that helps them go, wow, you're really the guys and you definitely know your stuff. That's what's going to make a really highly effective landing page.
All right, from my side, I would say that don't expect too much from a website, because at the end of the day, that's what people get frustrated with. The website's there about validation. If you're running a campaign with a view to sell, drive, enhance, and add value, there we go. Here's the clock, but yeah, I'm wrapping up. It's about enhancing the value of the sale with the view to create engagement, with the view to respond. If people have engaged with you, you're going to have autoresponders with the view to maintain and hold that relationship until you've got the deal concluded. In some cases, we'll talk a little bit later on one of our other subjects, that sometimes a sale takes a period of time, and therefore you want to make sure you're engaging with your particular target audience.
100%. Awesome, man. And we definitely will wrap that back in one of the other subjects we're talking about today. So the next thing we're going to be talking about, SEO. So Google has recently done a couple of algorithm changes. Might be experiencing some emails coming from, some warning emails or update emails coming from Google. So we thought I might just wrap that into a bit of a chat and then get your insights on SEO and how you can make a really authentic search parameters around your website or landing page. Ready to go?
Before you hit the clock, Bernard, before you hit the clock.
Yes,
so I think what is important is to tell our viewers how we work a little bit, just remind them a little bit how we work. So basically, there's 2 professionals in a room. We bring up a subject matter. We ask anyone out there with the view to reach out to us and ask us a particular subject. Number 1, we want to get challenged. Number 2, we want to be able to push our boundaries of what we know. And we also want to challenge each other, because we've both got different points of view. The most important part is Bernard's got the clock. He hits the timer, and within 5 minutes, the 2 of us have got to get in and get a conversation started as to what our points are, to be relevant to the subject matter at hand, but also not to go too long. So basically, guys, share with us, engage with us, subscribe with us, but at the end of the day, start sending us some questions. Is that the show, Bernard?
That is spot on. And guys, you can comment right now. We're keeping our eyes on the comments. So if you do have any questions on any of the particular subjects, we'll either cover them off now or cover them off in the next show. But please hit us up. We are ready to rumble. You ready to go on the next subject?
Let's go.
Awesome. Let's do this. Here we go. So SEO, always a fun subject, always a topic that comes up quite often with customers. They're like, do I need SEO? What is SEO? How does SEO work? And there's a lot of, a vague space around the whole SEO thing. So I'm going to highlight a couple things that we've seen recently, and we'll get your insights in on it too, Grant, of course. One thing that we've seen a lot of recently is there are some new parameters around mobile responsiveness of sites. Google is really highly ranking sites that are responsive, but provide a really nice responsive experience. And not just the fact that, I did a mobile site, and when you pull it up on your phone, it looks like a website and you can scroll through it. They're looking at all the details, how close a button is to another object. You know, if you've got big thumbs like I do.
Before you run ahead, let's talk about responsiveness. So responsiveness is all about the modification of your site to appear on a mobile phone, because 80% of transactions now are taking place on mobile phones. So therefore, that's why Google is pushing for that that responsiveness because they want to make sure that the viewer has a comfortable experience viewing your content. Hence why responsiveness is the #1 factor towards Google ranking you with a view to get best implementation of SEO.
Yeah, 100%. Like, think of it like this: even if you have the best information, but it's hard for somebody to actually digest it through the experience on the market, then Google is probably not going to be putting your content up at the top. It's going to be too difficult for people to obtain the information, and Google is all about putting you in the right place with the right kind of information as fast as possible. So it doesn't benefit them to have a really poor experience, right? So have a look at it like this. The things that they're focusing on is how close content is together. So if a button is too close to an image, text is too close to a button, it creates complications, as I was saying before, for people, especially people with big thumbs like I have, and it can't hit one button, and you're trying to hit little, this little tiny, you can't just get it on the screen. And one of the other things in saying tiny little things is the size of your font. We know historically 16-point font is a great font for mobile usage. You might want to look at any of your fonts that are smaller than that on your site and bring them up for mobile so they kind of hit that 16 and over. The reason is because 16 sounds big maybe for a desktop, but when you get it on a mobile phone, it is that nice healthy size that you see on a phone for reading.
But you know what it is, why it's 16 points? It's because majority of people have poor eyesight. And if you can't see, you're going to skip the content goodbye. So therefore, it's a case of they make it on a moderate size with the view to ensure that everyone can read everything that they're scrolling to without passing you by because they can't see, or they're having to now enlarge you to try and get in. If they enlarge you, you're missing a button. If you're missing a button, they're not going to go further with your site and skip you and move on.
Exactly. So it's to your own benefit and the benefit of the customer, and Google makes their customers happy. So that's the way to aim. I'll wrap in one other one that we know is pretty important and people ask about all the time. But Google actually has an algorithm verifies whether or not the images on your website are stock images versus your own photography. There's a couple of different ways they do this by analyzing the metadata of your images, but also if you ever drag and drop an image into Google Images, you'll see that Google Images has a way of taking apart the pixels and picture matching that image to other images that are online. So with all these tools at their hands, they can see whether you've got authentic photography on your website versus stock photography. Why is that really useful?
But Google loves you to be a creative soul with the view to generate your own stuff rather than copy from someone else. So therefore, yes, your original content is much better than some content copied from somewhere else. And they can tell. You're quite correct with pictures with a view to go and take authentic pictures, because at the end of the day, pictures are what builds Google's library of images. So therefore, they want the purity. If you're using the same picture and it's been shared across multiple people, then eventually they're going to downgrade you accordingly. It's also about reposting content as fresh as possible on a site with a view to keep the site updated. Even if you took out the same paragraph and you post it again, it's the date stamp that content was laid on that makes Google make sure that its search engines is giving the most relative information to the person searching.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about how relevant it is. Now, couple seconds. I'll just quickly wrap it up, and then you can put a couple insights on top before we kick the timer off for the last subject. This is just going like a bullet train at the moment. Loving it. So the 3 subjects that we covered off in the SEO component were have a look at your mobile site, ensure that it's an effective, responsive site, not just automatically responding. So make sure elements are in the correct place, the correct size, so that it makes it as easy as possible for people to obtain that content. Try and aim to get as much authentic imagery on your website rather than taking or adapting stock photography, because that improves your relevance and authenticity of the content that you're producing. And as Grant said very rapidly at the end there, new and updated content. Google loves it if your site is updated on a regular basis. So create a blog, a news item, something like that, where you can continually do updates to the site content. In saying that, if you do not plan to update your blog, don't make a blog, right? Because nobody likes going to a website and seeing the last blog was posted in 2017. it's horrible. It's a terrible experience.
It's superfluous.
So
it doesn't, it assists you in no way.
So make a plan on how you're going to produce your content. Plan it 12 months in advance, and then just start rolling it out. And then you'll have a nice Google-friendly site. Grant, any last thoughts?
Right, last words from me. When you're building your site, SEO is very much part of that foundation thought, in the sense of the keywords or what your subject's about. And there's two parts. There's positive keywords and there's negative keywords. And the negative keywords are there to assist that people who are searching that's not relative to you will go somewhere else and not to you, and then waste your time. And the second one, the positive keywords, is with the view that it is essential to the service and the offering that you make, with the view that you can be found. People want to be at the top of Google search engines. This is the way that you do it, in the sense that when you build the site, you need to work all this SEO right in the very beginning, and it needs to be embedded into the site when you're building it. When you try and add it at the top, like on the roof structure, it doesn't really have the same emphasis as when it's in the core of the foundation. So therefore, when thinking of building your site, think of why people need to find you. Think about all the information that's related to you. And at the same time, think of things that are not related to you, but the same words, just so that we can push them somewhere else, so that we don't have incorrect traffic to your site. But I think SEO is a science, and it's left for the professionals, but it's imperative that every single site has SEO.
Yes, if you want to make it an effective tool for your business, people need to find you. Don't be the best kept secret, as they say, right?
Especially in a digital age.
Yes, sir. Especially with everyone online right now, right? You have no other choice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last subject matter. This is going to be a bit of an interesting one. I'm sure people will it might be highly disputed by people in the industry. But we thought we'd kick it off with a little bit of our own experience on Google Ads and our insights on what is effective and not effective for certain types of businesses in the Google Ad space.
All right, well, before we hit the clock, let's talk about Google Ads for 1 second. So Google Ads is spoken about just about in every single business, in the sense that you need to advertise your business in order to be found. It's a known fact about advertising. It's just that now there are new rules in the sense of how to find passing traffic, and that's called Google Ads. But the problem is that that algorithm, which Google is enhancing, is their money maker. And it's their tool with the view to give a quality of service for people that are spending money. So at the end of the day, Google Ads is not a simple exercise, but it has to be a pre-planned exercise, like any traditional campaign used to be in the old days. It's exactly the same. So I think, Bernard, I'm ready to hit that clock. Let's hit it and let's get started.
Let's do it.
So let me start off with saying that Google Ads is something that I deal with a lot with clients, in the sense that 9 times out of 10, they're quite frustrated and disappointed with this investment because it hasn't really given them the correct return of investment and results in sales, and therefore they feel ripped off. And the secret around that is that it comes down to the planning as to what are you trying to achieve, what are you trying to sell, to who are you trying to sell it to, and at what period are you trying to sell it to them at. So the thing is, Google never has office hours. It's 24/7, 365, and if you're awake, it's ready to sell to you. But if you haven't positioned your campaign correctly, you're going to miss valuable customers.
And I think that's a really key thing. Plan a campaign, especially if you are in the space of what I call a high value considered purchase. So if you're a service business, if you're a consulting business, if you're providing any kind of professional services, people don't, it's a considered purchase, as in people don't just wake up one morning and go, I'm just going to hire a business consultant, right? They usually sit down, they'll consider, they'll talk to other people, they go, should I, what do you think, where's the value in, before they make that purchase. For these types of customers, you have 2 different ways of approaching your Google ad spend. It's either for brand exposure, so you're not looking for it to convert, you're looking for it just to get more eyeballs on the brand. Or the second way you drive it is a focused campaign. So this is where a landing page could be very effective. You drive a focused campaign with a high budget that will bring a good number of leads to a focused and targeted landing page. That is an effective campaign end to end. And the landing page is built to build a lot of credibility very quickly and convert a sale. If you're building a campaign like that, that is a good way to invest that Google spend. But if you're just going to do a drip campaign, hoping that those leads will come in and then start converting, it's not likely to happen. And we haven't seen it happen for those higher value products. With fast moving consumer goods, we've seen that happen, where you just put up the ad. It's a good that somebody wants. Yes, I do like resistance bands. Yes, I am interested in improving my health. Yes, I am interested in, I don't know, gin, for lack of a better thought. And people will just buy based on the fact that it is something that they are is already part of their lifestyle. But when you're looking for a service that is outside of your day-to-day, that's when that becomes a more considered purchase, and therefore your campaign should be more considered.
So the thing that you've got to think about is the fact that Google loves consistency. The more you're spending on a regular basis, the more they're going to come and help you with the view to get your end goal of results in the sense of conversion of sale. But if you are intermittent with your investment, or your investment is low, then basically by the time you spend your money, you haven't quite got the algorithm to work, because unfortunately we don't deal in milliseconds on Google. It takes a bit of time because there's so much conversion of traffic taking place that you've got to find means with the view to get your end customer to engage with you. So because there's lots of traffic, there's lots of competition, all doing the same thing on the same platform, on the same algorithm, hence why a regular spend on a longer term will give you a better return of results. And of course, getting back to those landing pages that we're creating is part of the SEO of getting the message out to capture the correct audience and targeting towards your campaign or page.
Yeah, I think that's look. I'm going to put something out there as well that kind of came to me, and I'm going to liken it to hiring a new employee. Right? When you hire a new employee, you can't guarantee that employee is going to be amazing at their job. Right? You can look at all their credentials and everything. You can go, yes, it looks like, from based on what I've been told, my experience meeting with them a couple of times, and their resume, that they're more than likely going to be a good fit for the business. Right? And it may go any of which way. You have no idea really, right? The honest truth is you don't really know until they're inside your business. It's the same with marketing. No matter how many times you've done something, you have to be willing to make the investment to create the right fit. The great thing about advertising is if it's not working, we can tweak it straight away, right? With a marketing campaign, we could tweak it straight away. But think of like an employee. If you're not planning to make an investment, then don't invest. If you're going to half invest in an employee, I guarantee they won't deliver what you want into the business. It's the same with your advertising and marketing. You have to treat it like another piece of your business, not like that other thing that I do that's over there. Yeah, I'm running ads. It's over there, So, and if you don't train it and tweak it and maintain it, just like an employee, it won't treat your business well. So I think like the misnomer, oh man, I didn't even see that kick off.
So let me bring this one home, Bernard. Let me bring this one home.
Sure.
I say that, people now live in 5.4 second lives. And what I mean by that is they're viewing something, and then within 5.4 seconds, if you haven't added value or created interest, they're going to swipe you to the very next advert, campaign, client, opportunity, category, whatever the case may be. So the thing that you've got to look at is how creative can you be? How informative can you be? How on point can you be at the end of the day? There's nothing more frustrating when you see something, you want to come back to it, you can't find it. So therefore, you need to be in that person's face. And therefore, there's a way of capturing little cookies with the view to enhance a sale. And we'll talk about that in another show. But right now, what I think is important is that, remember, it's a busy world out there. If you want to win, you have to be effective in communicating and making sure that your spend is so targeted to the customer that buys your product and service.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head with people don't really think about how important the copy is. And remember, all you have is a heading and a body set of content on the Google ad. You need to make that as effective as possible. Don't wing it on the most important part of the ad. That's the only thing to grab somebody's attention. 4.5 seconds to grab somebody's attention with a good catchphrase, with a good line, with a good intro to get somebody in and having a look at your website or having a look at your landing page. So don't neglect every piece of the campaign and how important it is.
Absolutely. So there we go. Awesome. 3 shows in 5 minutes each. And basically, you can see it's not easy to get a word in when Bernard is talking. But at the end of the day...
Oh, snap!
What's important is the fact that 2 people here are passionate about growing people's businesses, making brands come alive, and at the end of the day, being successful in a very complicated market. Back in the old days, traditional marketing was about creativity and positioning. Now it's about creativity and targeting and making sure that you do not spend money in the incorrect places. And that's what we're here for, with the view to debate, enhance, be creative, and execute great campaigns.
Awesome, great, Grant. Thanks for wrapping that up. Everybody, as always, thank you very much for joining us. Please jump on, comment, share, like, give us some questions. We're looking for you guys to really challenge us. Grant and I don't always want to be so agreeable either, so feel free to really give us something that's outside of the box, because you know, we'd love to get into a little battle over here. And catch us on the next show. As always, we're doing this the first and third Friday of every single month. So there will be some promo stuff going out very soon, so you can then know when the next show is. The next show is going to be the 3rd of October. 3rd of October. Jesus, I skipped to November in my head. The 3rd of October, everyone. Make sure you tune in, and we'll have some new subjects to cover off in that show. Grant, any last words before we let everyone get back to their Friday?
So, Bernard, the last comments that we had from our last show was that people were wanting us to be a little bit more controversial. And I'm open to that, but at the same time, in marketing, there's a right way and a wrong way, unfortunately. But there's multiple ways of executing, which is interesting. So we want to be more controversial, so therefore we need that subject matter. So please engage or give us a subject matter where we can be a little bit more controversial. But unfortunately, there's no right or wrong answer. There's the right way or the wrong way of implementing a campaign. So we may sound like we're complimenting each other. Meantime, what we're actually doing is fighting for airtime. But we love the format. We want the format to grow. And at the same time, share it with your friends and audiences that you feel could benefit from our insight as to what we do in marketing.
Perfect. Good way to wrap it up. Everybody, thank you very much for joining us. Looking forward to hearing all your feedback and talking more, and obviously Grant cutting me off more because I get way too passionate about things. Guys, enjoy your Friday, and we'll catch you on the 3rd. Have a good one.
Goodbye.